The very first ARMS Test Punch has concluded after allowing players to duke it out for the very first time in Nintendo's new fighting IP. Is it worth checking out? Let's take a quick look and find out. The ARMS Global Test Punch features 7 very unique fighters and many unique customization options to play around with. The fighters include Springman, Ribbon Girl, Ninjara, Master Mummy, Min Min, Mechanica, and Helix. I decided that I would take the first hour of this weekend's Test Punch event to try out each fighter and see how they differed, beginning with Springman. With my Joy-Con in this upright position, I settled in to get started. I was really excited to use the motion controls. I know a lot of people were kind of iffy about that, but I really wanted to see how the motion controls worked more than anything else. So here I'm learning how to move by tilting the Joy-Con left and right in unison, and then dashing using the L button. You can also jump with the R button. Jumping and dashing, extremely useful, especially putting them together. You can jump and then dash to really kind of mix it up. You can twist your hands to curve your punches. If you've been following ARMS at all, you already know most of this. But in action, it's actually really intuitive, and I was very surprised how quickly I picked it up. Guarding took me a little longer to get down. I mean, it doesn't feel quite right to just like move my hands inward. And every once in a while, I felt like maybe I was blocking when I wanted to be doing something else. So with the tutorial out of the way, we're going to jump into our first real fight against this CPU player, Master Mummy. So the ARMS Test Punch is really generous. You still get to pick 3 customization options for each hand. So you just use the left and right stick, and you can thumb through those and pick what you want as your loadout. So here I'm still kind of getting used to the controls and putting them all together. Keeping in mind that this is the very first battle I participated in during my time with ARMS, I'm pleased to say that I eventually got much better at the game and felt totally capable and in control. Alright, so we did it, but it wasn't very pretty. Now let's skip ahead and look at one of the later fights. So for this fight I'm using Ninjara, and I can tell you at this point that Ninjara is my favorite character in the Test Punch. I've tried all of them, and I can't really tell how much of it is just me wanting this character to be my favorite, and how much of it is really his mobility and everything. But I love the way that he plays compared to some of the others. So now I'm playing online against another real human character, and this is a Master Mummy player who knows that if he blocks, he's able to regain his health. After a rocky start, I felt like I hit my stride in this match. I knocked down this bomb that the drone carried in and stunned Master Mummy long enough to grab him. And this started what I felt was my most intuitive match. I felt like everything just clicked. I knew what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything on accident. Everything actually felt like it was on purpose. And that was a really cool feeling in ARMS. I enjoyed it a lot. Here, I just decided to avoid that bomb because I was too close to it and I was afraid it was going to blow up on me. Instead, I chose to punch around it as much as I could here, and then I almost got stunned, but I was already down, so it didn't count. Even though this match was really close, it just felt like I knew what I was doing, and it made it immensely satisfying to play and fun to watch back now that I'm sitting here watching it. During my time with ARMS, I played every character in order, and then I mixed it up a little bit after that. Here, the characters in the Test Punch ranked from my favorite to my least favorite. Ninjara was definitely the fighter I kept gravitating toward. His speed and his style when dashing around the stage made him really fun for me to play. Maybe I just really like characters that are balanced. Springman is the fighter I saw myself returning to most after Ninjara. My time with Ribbon Girl was mostly spent in party-style matches with 4 people or in like the volleyball mode, and it seemed like every time I tried to play as Ribbon Girl I would end up in one of these modes, which made it really hard for me to get a feel for her fighting style. I think she closely resembled Springman though, so I placed her pretty high up on my list. Helix is a very weird character, and he gets points for uniqueness right off the bat. I would have liked to have placed him higher on this list, but I still haven't really had enough time to practice with Helix to feel confident. Looking forward to revisiting him later, though. The rest of the characters that were available were still incredibly fun to play, but I didn't really feel like I performed as well when I used them. Min, for instance, was agile, and I enjoyed all of the weapons I was offered while playing as her, but I just didn't play well during any of the time I spent with this character, and I'm not really sure why. I don't typically like slow and heavy fighters in fighting games, and ARMS is mostly no exception to that. The only footage I got of Master Mummy, sadly, was in this volleyball match, and he, along with the loadout I selected, did not feel suited to this mode at all. That said, I loved being able to block and recharge health at a slow rate while I was actually fighting someone. That being Master Mummy's signature is really, really cool, and it paid off immensely on a few occasions during group battles. There's just something about that last fighter, Mechanica, that didn't quite click with me. The combination of her speed and size, or maybe some mysterious force of nature, kept me from having nearly as much fun while playing Mechanica as any of the other characters. I gave her a good, fair shot too, returning to try her fighting skills out on a number of occasions. I still had fun because ARMS at its core is really, really fun, but just not quite as much as I normally had while playing the Testpunch. Lastly, let's discuss these controls. I wish I were more qualified to speak to all of the control schemes than I am, but I only use motion controls with split Joy-Con the entire time I spent with ARMS. This was the control scheme that I was really looking forward to, and the one that I think most people will use when they play. It was so fun, and I loved how fun it was when I finally decided to stand up and kind of move around the room while I played. I looked like a real dork, but that was cool because it was so fun. So, has your impression of ARMS changed at all since this Testpunch? I went from being really interested to being really excited about ARMS within my very first hour with the game. Let me know down in the comments who you played with in the Testpunch, and if you're going to be picking up ARMS when it releases on Nintendo Switch on June 16th. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. I loved the Testpunch, and I really hope to be able to play with you guys in some streams when ARMS releases. In the meantime, you need to check out all the BTG videos you've been missing and subscribe so you don't miss any more. Go ahead, it's really easy, like super easy. I really can't overstate how simple it is, it's right there.